we were pissing neon green every day.
The big ball of heat in the sky was too much.
I thought there was a bear.
Reality goes, yeah, fresco. That's what I'm saying.
Hey, everybody. What's up, everybody?
Welcome to
StouryTime.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to StouryTime with John and Friends. I'm your host, John. Today's guest recently released a new record this past September titled Better Luck Next Time via Side One Dummy Records. Please welcome my new friends, Maddie, Duncan, and Kegan, Krogh. Thanks so much for joining the show, guys.
Yo, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. Why don't you tell the people a little bit about yourselves?
My name's Maddie. I play guitar and sing in this band.
My name's Kegan. I also play guitar and then sometimes lap steel and keys when they let me.
That's awesome. How you guys doing today?
I'm doing all right. Kind of tired. I just sanded a bunch of drywall mud for 4 hours before this.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
That's absolutely terrible. I'm an electrician, so I don't have to do that very much. But I did it to my whole house when I purchased my house about 5 years ago. But I had
Did you buy a tool to do it though?
So I had popcorn ceilings, and I was like, no. I scraped all of them, and then it was a whole process because you have to make sure it's not asbestos, and then all that.
Yeah, I was about to say did you test it first?
I did not test it. I just treated it as if it was.
Okay.
So I took care of it as if it was confirmed asbestos. Which caused gouges, and then I had to redo the whole. It was terrible. So I do not envy you.
My condolences.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awful. We've been building a studio downstairs in my basement and building out a little soundproof room down there.
Okay.
And I hate drywall. If I never have to touch drywall and work with it again, that would be great.
Yeah, it's the worst for sure. So what's the plans with the studio in the basement? Are you guys going to record your own stuff there, or are you opening up a studio to have people come and record with you?
We started it we were well, we could just build this and do this and never have to for me personally, I don't like paying to go to a studio to record vocals and just hope that I'm feeling good that day and then think about all the money burning in front of my eyes if I'm not. So I was honestly, it's more economical for me to just build.
That makes sense. My
for own place. But Keegan just recently started producing.
I work at a studio here in Atlanta and have a big passion for all that. So I'm getting excited about getting some sounds in the basement, and then ideally, get all the demos for our own band, and then if any friends want to come record and songwrite and stuff, we could have a space.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. Congratulations on the new record. It is so good. I love it so much. I really enjoy it. I've been listening to it a lot lately. So I guess we'll dive right in with that. Just a few questions about the record. What was the writing process like with this record?
So typically I'll write, I'm kind of the songwriter when it comes to the bare bones. It's more of a singer-songwriter thing from the start. And then I'll bring them to the dudes and we'll kind of flesh it out. This record was weird though because COVID.
Yeah.
So a lot of it was us demoing things, me
wall writing.
Yeah, wall writing. Some of these songs are old as shit. They're 5 years old.
I remember KO you brought to the band January 2018 before
oh wow.
Out.
Yeah, they're old.
Yeah.
I not all of them, but some of the songs I wrote before COVID. And then our plan was to record this record, and then as soon as we went to record it, COVID happened.
Yeah.
And we were just shit, well, I guess it's gonna take us 3 years to make a record.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy. It's so what was that like when you guys were writing that record as far as back then? Because I no longer really play in a band, but I was at the time. I had just formed one with my old singer, and we were literally just sending files back and forth and then recording in our own basements. What was that kind of the same kind of thing you were doing as far as pre-proing, or?
Yeah.
Similar, yeah.
So, yeah, pretty much. Like we were all pretty close. So like at the beginning of COVID, we all quarantined, but you know, as people started like meeting up and stuff, like we had our own little like quarantine group or whatever. And we started like writing those songs with a different drummer too. So I lived with my drummer at the time.
That definitely helped.
Yeah. And then yeah, it kind of just like went from there as like restrictions started letting up. We kind of got together. We sent everything to Ben, who plays bass, and also produced Get Well Soon and Better Luck Next Time. We sent them to him, and then he kind of like worked on them on his end, you know, and like
send them back.
Yeah, until we could finally like get into the studio and you know.
I do have a memory of we got the demo back for Speed Limit, like back from Ben, as I was like in one of those hour-long lines to get COVID, like a COVID test back in the day. And I remember being super stoked about it, and like I'll never forget that memory of like in line for a COVID test, hearing that for the first time, and like being in my car alone, being super excited.
Yeah, like it's kind of crazy. A lot of the songs like were written in 2018 and 2019, I think. I don't know, when was that through TMP tour?
2019.
Yeah, 2019. Like 20 Deer was written on the tour before that one, and like
2018.
Faking a Smile was like 2019. So the songs are pretty old. And we're just like really glad to have it out.
Absolutely, I feel that. Yeah.
So it was like that, and then like as soon as you could tour again, it was like, well, I guess we have to go on tour.
So the record got pushed a little bit further then.
Yeah. Okay. So I had a while back a friend of mine, Sean Gorse from Young English. I don't know if you know that band from a little bit earlier in the 2000s. They were like an emo band, but we were talking about it as far as like it's so funny because all of these bands that kind of came out with records like during or right after COVID, the records are like the greatest records they could possibly write because you spent so much time with it.
Yeah.
And like maybe sometimes people overthought some things or didn't, like vice versa. But I mean, now that you're saying that, like the record is amazing. It really is. It's the songs, they flow really well together. You can feel the emotion in the vocals and everything, and in the songs just in general. But yeah, it's just interesting to see, like, you know, all these bands that no one was allowed to tour. Everybody was kind of just stuck in their houses for a year or two. Like everybody wrote the best records, you know, for them at that point. So it's cool to see that.
And like a lot of people didn't have to work their shitty jobs, you know.
True.
So like
Absolutely.
all of the like true DIYers that don't have any fucking money were actually able to like sit down and make art, which was awesome. Like
absolutely.
I
Crazy
very
results.
much enjoyed that.
Absolutely. What were some of the your influences while writing that record?
I'm like bad when it comes to like music, honestly. Like I spend most of my time listening to podcasts.
Same.
Like I know that sounds so it's so shitty to like
so
say
true.
that and hear it though. Like it's like, and it's not that I don't listen to music, but it's like if I told you the music I listened to, it wouldn't like, it's like I didn't really derive much influence from it. I feel like I'm 32 and I feel like this is such a like it's like lame. Like I shouldn't be like this. I should like be more like I should be paying attention more to what's happening now. But like I still feel like a lot of whatever influenced me was what influenced me back when I was like a kid.
Okay. So it's nostalgic music for the most part that you're still listening to.
Kind of. I'll listen to some new stuff too, but yeah, like I don't know. I listened to a lot of Tom Petty, you know,
Okay.
like,
I feel that.
You know, like what am I like sound like a grandpa. Like if I were to be honest about it, like I would just not sound cool.
That's funny. So I ask because there's like in a few of the songs, there's like a really folky undertone in the kind of like under the song that like if you listen closely you can hear it, and that like really stands out to me when that happens. I love that.
I like my favorite band was Bright Eyes when I was a kid.
Okay. Very cool. That makes sense.
That.
Yeah, you're like, I hear it. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Moving on.
Yeah, I love that.
Maddie writes all these songs on an acoustic guitar first too, which I'm sure plays into it a bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that would make sense.
I made folk music before this band. I actually didn't really even know what emo music was at all. Like, I mean, I knew about like mall emo, but when the band first started, I didn't really know shit about that. And then people were like, "Oh, this sounds like this," and then I like learned about emo music, and I was like, "Oh, it's cool."
That's awesome. I love that. It's like accidental. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to like a lot of pop punk and stuff that like I don't know. A lot of people would probably say isn't emo when I was younger.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Well, I mean, at the same time, though, like one of my favorite records, actually, my favorite record of all time is "Something to Write Home About" by the Get Up Kids. And like, if you think about it, it's just a pop punk record, right? It's like an early pop punk record that played into that emo realm, kind of. So, I mean, isn't it all just kind of pop punk for the most part?
Yeah, I was like, I don't know, it was like 2006, like
yeah.
For that even like I don't
or
know,
like alternative rock, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
Right,
like
yeah.
I liked The Used. I don't know.
Right, yeah.
You know, like
We all
none
did,
of the none of the bands like I would say would be like I feel like it's kind of what everybody was listening to, like that listened to rock music during those periods of time.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So what was it like? What was the idea behind the music video for the 20 Deers?
So I originally went to Costa and Summer like directed it, and I went to them with like this really crazy idea to have like a cult of deer people like kidnapping us. And they were like, "That's so sick. We don't have the budget for that. Let's figure out another way to like have the same point across."
I love that. That's amazing.
Yeah, they did a sick job though. We filmed like half of it at my mom's house, like out in the well, I guess kind of the boonies.
Yeah.
Outside of Atlanta. So yeah, my mom just like had like a whole film crew and a bunch of people just like in her house and in her yard for a day. So that was fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. We just like we had a really good time filming.
It was great.
It was like the most professional video that we had ever like done or had. Most of the time we're just like doing some crappy like DIY stuff with like whatever cameras we can scrounge and in whatever place we can do it in.
I feel that for sure. Yeah. Is it so with this new record, is there like any like specific meaning behind the record as a whole, or is there like specific songs that have a specific meaning to you and hold like a really, dear to your heart as far as that goes?
I think
no pun intended about the deer.
I think Speed Limit, the closer, I think that song kind of like best encapsulates kind of like the idea of, I don't know, shit being wrong or fucked up and just trying to, like, it sounds so like boomer, like pick yourself up by your bootstraps-y, but like trying to like find the good in what's going on around you, even though shit just like really blows right now. And I feel like I wish that I could say like that's how I felt then, and I don't feel like that now, but I still feel that same way, like shit's just kind of like getting worse all the time, I feel like.
It does seem to feel that way.
Yeah.
Here, like in this country specifically, but also kind of the whole world.
Yeah, it's a little scary out there right now.
Or whatever,
hopefully shit starts to change.
But just those internal struggles that kind of come from your surroundings, and learning to like appreciate and try and like rebuild your way of thinking to get through whatever it is that's going on, I think is kind of a big major theme in the record. And being bored and like getting older and all your friends like getting married and having kids and you're just like wanting to go on tour.
Friends moving
and they're
on.
like, actually, I don't want to tour anymore. I want to enjoy my life.
Have a life.
Hey, I was there. It happened to me. It happened to me in the middle of touring with. We were on tour with Save Face, and I think we were in Worcester, Massachusetts, and the show was just like no one came in. It was before they signed to Epitaph. Like the bar was like packed because it was $2 PBRs or some shit, and then in the venue part of the bar, not a soul. So we're just like, what? We've been doing this for 8 years. What are we? Let's just sell the van. You know, at a certain point, we were just like, we've had enough. But yeah, I've been there. I've had that moment. But
honestly, I'm at the point where you couldn't pay me $2 to drink a PBR.
Same.
Think about how I'm gonna feel the next day.
But when you're on the road, I mean, you'll drink whatever you can, especially when you're not making anything, right?
Yeah, no, 100%.
Drink tickets.
Drink tickets.
Absolutely. That's if you're playing somewhere that has drink tickets, you know?
Right. It's not guaranteed.
You just have to go make friends with the bartender. If
That's
your show is like bad enough, they usually feel bad.
That's true. That is true.
Speaking from experience.
We can't pay you, but we'll give you a 12-pack. I don't know.
Yeah.
And if like you didn't play like total shit, they feel even worse because they're
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Like, these poor people.
So typically I have people on to come and share what it's like to tour and share some stories from the road. I asked you guys if you could maybe think of some ideas of some stuff you wanted to share. You got anything for me?
Yeah, I mean, we've got a few in the notes apps here.
What you got over there?
I mean, first of all, our van breaks down like every tour. Like, I'm sure this is like a recurring theme.
Yeah, I'm sure you hear this a lot.
Last tour, our van, the brake cylinder just like fucking blew up and our transmission started leaking coming back from Canada, going down to Philly. And it was like 20 degrees out and we were in some like bumfuck ass place in New York. And at a gas station, and we somehow managed to get the only Uber in town. The only one is like this really sweet kid. I wish I remembered his name. He picked us up and took us to AutoZone to get the parts. And he like, we got there and he was just like, so like, are you guys going to need a ride back? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, can I just give you my number? And I was like, yeah, please. Yeah.
Fuck the app.
And then like called him and he came and picked us up and took us back. And I was just on the ground at a gas station in the cold fixing the brakes on our van, and the gas station attendant was just like felt so bad for us. Like he was like, do you want a coffee? We're like all like freezing cold, like we're from the South, so like none of us are prepared for this, like at all. And we like had to stop. We started driving to Philly. We had to stop every 30 minutes to check the transmission fluid levels, top it off. But we made it to Philly, and we ended up through my buddy Evan. Like, he had a friend that has this really cool auto shop called No Kill Car Shelter. Okay. In Philly. So sick. He like restores like really cool old cars, like kind of like rat rods and stuff.
Yeah. Old vans.
Yeah. And I called him and I was like, hey man, like I know this is last minute and if you can't do it, it's cool. But like our transmission's leaking really bad and I don't know where it's coming from because I don't have the right tools to figure it out. And he was like, yeah, bring it by after your show. I was like, okay, cool. Like, can I get you anything? And he was like, pack of Camel Blues. And I was like, hell right.
Hell
like,
yeah.
our van's getting fixed. And he did. He fixed it. He figured it out. And we were on the road and it was cool. But every single tour, like our tires pop and it was just like something every time.
What, the tension rod went out once? Is that what it was? Or the tensioner? What is that?
I don't.
On the way to,
like the belt.
Wichita?
The belt tensioner just like exploded off of the van.
Yeah, I was driving and then all of a sudden the power steering went out. But we were on the highway in Kansas, so it was all straight anyway. It was fun. Yeah, exactly. I was like getting off the exit like that.
It was like three of you pulling the steering wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of that. And we got super lucky, like called the closest AutoZone and they had like one left of the part we needed.
Wow.
There's a lot of me fixing the van in parking lots.
Yeah.
Do you do that for work? Like, are you like a technician or anything?
No,
You're just handy.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I tube shit and then, I
figured
figure
a bike once.
like I grew up, my stepdad painted cars for a living and stuff, but he didn't teach me shit. So once I like was out on my own and shit started going wrong, I was too poor to take it somewhere.
Right.
So it was like, well, I'm either gonna have to figure out how to fix this or I'm not gonna have a vehicle. So
okay, see, that's where that mentality of you're building a studio in your basement because you don't want to have to pay someone else to do something that you can do yourself. I have that exact same mentality. I said with the ceilings in my house, like I feel like
people don't realize that like you're never gonna be like the best at it. You know what I mean? Like you're not gonna do like as good of a job as some dude that's been doing it for like 50 years or something. But the thing is most of the time when you hire somebody to do something for you, it's not a dude that's been doing this for like 50 years or something.
Right. Yeah.
It's like a 19-year-old that shows up at your house and is like, yeah, we're here to like install the French drain. And you're just like, oh God.
Yeah.
Like,
and then usually exactly, yeah. And then usually after they leave, you're like, I could have done a better job. Why did I waste my money?
Like your best effort is probably going to be better. Like if you have just like regular skills, you can figure it out. Like it's really not.
And YouTube is everything nowadays too.
Oh, yeah.
Like you can become a professional with that shit. So it's the whole thing of like they don't give a shit of what it looks like at the end because it's not theirs. Right. You care because it's your property. You care about this thing. You want it to be the best that it can be, and they don't. Yeah. I've been having a really tough time with a dude that built my deck for me last year, and I was really, really upset about it. He was just here last week. It's a whole thing.
I feel your pain. I'm like in the middle of a dispute with our foundation people. So
yeah, I feel that. It's terrible. People suck, especially after COVID. I feel like everybody just like, and no one gives a shit anymore,
because everybody like quit. Like everybody, what the fuck they were doing, like either started their own company or like, and so they just like hired. Well, a lot of people aren't going into trades, so like there's less of a pool, of people to do that work.
That's why I went into trades because I'll never not be working. Like right now, so I'm in Buffalo, obviously with the Bills, but like I'm an electrician. I'm working at the Bills Stadium and everything, and like there is no like shortage of work for years to come.
No.
So yeah.
That's it, actually.
Yeah, like
it's okay.
Fine.
Right. Work as long as you want to.
Yeah. I don't like having a boss or a job really, so I don't do it for a living. But that with tour, like it just you can't.
Yeah, it's nice to make
for sure. Yeah.
But I just feel like pretty much anybody could do pretty much anything with the internet.
Absolutely. Totally agree. Speaking of bosses, Terrible segue. What's it like working with Side One Dummy?
Oh, it's sick, honestly.
Yeah. Are they like hands-on at all? Or are they, as far as like, oh, we think like this is the song you should release, or that kind of thing, or are they kind of just let you do your own thing?
They didn't, they're cool, they're chill.
That's sick.
They're great, honestly.
They're just like, invoice me, and I'm like, cool.
Hell yeah.
This is fine.
This is great.
That's ideal. That's ideal, especially for musicians, because I mean it's your
they're
art.
super chill.
Yeah.
No one wanted to put the record out. Like no one.
Nobody.
Like no one. That's why it got delayed like another year.
A year
like,
and a half.
I didn't want to self-release it and go on another DIY tour because I was tired. And so I was just like, well, we'll see what happens, and we played Fest, and Phil was there and came up to us, was like, you got another record? And we're like, yeah. Sick.
I remember he came up to the merch table and I was like, yeah, we're just putting singles out to like see if anybody wants to put out the whole record. And he goes, oh, well, I'm Phil, I work at Side One Dummy. I was like, oh, nice to meet you.
That's awesome.
Free merch.
Yeah.
So was that last Fest?
Yeah.
Or this past one?
This one that just happened, but the one before that.
2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
2023.
I love that. Fest is awesome. We played Fest in like 2013, 2014.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's such a blast.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, my dog is growling at something.
Oh, you're fine.
Mogus, you want to make a debut? No, he's over it.
Maybe we'll get him.
Yeah, he might come around.
So you guys have toured with bands like Tiny Moving Parts, Free Throw, Future Teens, The World is a Beautiful, Beautiful Place. You've done stuff with Christian from the Hotelier. What is there like anything really memorable from any of those tours that you can think of that maybe you may want to share?
Oh man, Chris Teddy from The World Is put a like whole ass bird scooter in our van after a show once. We like
a what?
Like you know those like scooters
scooter that you like rent?
Oh, like the city scooters?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was like beeping and shit.
Yeah, it was so bad.
It was so hard to get out of the van.
Yeah.
Aren't there like trackers in that shit too? Like
yeah. The third day or the second day of tour, we got an email, and it was like from this random ass email, like something like I love clowns or some shit. And it was just like, hey, like I'm a clown and we're in a clown troupe and we want to come to the show and da 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 da. And I like looked at it and I was like, this has to be someone in the world. I was like, there's no way. I was like, did you fucking send this? And he was just like, oh man, like,
you got me.
Immediately found out.
That's amazing. That's really funny.
I like replied to it with like some fucked up shit about like John Wayne Gacy, and then he was like, "Oh man, like you knew it was me."
That's hilarious.
That tour was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like we had a blast. Like
they kept stealing Gideon Bibles out of the hotel and would like sneak them into our stuff.
Yeah.
Like every day. So we started selling those Bibles at the table.
Yeah, we made so much money off of those Bibles.
We sold
brilliant.
We sold for like $69 each.
I think it was 69. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
In Ohio, we sold 2 in one night.
Yeah, I kept like hiding things in them. Like I was like hiding joints and like cutting out. Sorry if anyone's religious. Cutting out like pages and stuff, stuffing shit in them.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
This is fun tour.
That is really funny. So I have a pretty interesting story with Christian from the Hotelier. So I've known Christian for years. One of the first tours I ever did, I filled in for a band, and we played in Boston, and he did a acoustic. So then, we kind of became friends after that. And then when my band, The Traditional, played, was on tour, we picked him up to do, to do a show, and he was just doing acoustic again. It was like during that time where they were kind of on hiatus, but he was still doing his own thing, just playing all the hotelier stuff. And we're driving on the thruway to the show or back from the show, and he goes, "Hey, your van's about to blow up." And we're like, "What?" And he's like, "Your van is about to fucking blow up." And I'm just like, Christian, you're crazy, you know, like, what are you talking about? And he's like, look at your coolant. And like the coolant was, it, for whatever reason, it just like emptied or it burned up all the way and we didn't notice it. And the engine was so hot. And he's just like, yeah, you want to stop the van right now. So, like, okay, so we stopped the van and like ran across the interstate to a gas station or some shit. So he basically saved our lives. It was great.
Hell yeah.
Shout out Christian.
Yeah.
Christian's sweet. Christian played, we used to run like a house venue in Atlanta called the Pink Room.
Okay.
And he played our basement on that acoustic tour. One of those acoustic like gigs that they were doing in between. Well, not in between, I guess, because they didn't tour until like this year. So or last year. Did that tour start last year?
I don't know. Last year, I guess it started.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Did he still do his Britney Spears cover?
It was Avril Lavigne.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's usually between the two, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was great though. Big Avril Lavigne fan here. That was one of my major influences. I forgot to talk about that. Yeah. I had it bad for Avril Lavigne when I was a teenager.
Didn't she just announce like a massive tour?
Probably.
I think she did.
I definitely don't have enough money to go to that, but I would.
Right.
So do you guys have like a anything that comes to mind as far as like the funniest moment on tour?
I don't know, dude. Matt, our drummer Matt, is like so funny. Like he's definitely a little brother, you know, and like I wish he was here actually. He's playing for another band tonight. I think he's like on tour, so he couldn't come. But every tour there's like something with him. There was one tour where it was like the Wanna Squirt tour.
Oh yeah.
With like hand sanitizer.
Yeah, I think it was
okay.
After COVID. Yeah. So we always had like a big old bottle of hand sanitizer. And Matt always sits in the back of the van, like the back bench, because he'll usually have to work his like 9 to 5 from it. So like he'll always just be like, hey guys, can I get a squirt? And we have to like pass the
like all the way back. He's always in the fucking back. So like we're just like catering to his every whim somehow. Some way. He's convinced us.
He's convinced us.
Yeah. He's so cute. You can't say no to the guy.
You really can't.
Like you're just like, okay.
That's a puppy dog guy.
It's like his little form of power. Like
Yeah.
He knows it. He works it.
The one and only time that we played Arkansas, we played Little Rock, and we played to 2 people were there. Like literally 2 people. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the show promoter came up to me and he was like, hey, like, do you want your money? And I was like, yeah. And he like took out a $5 bill and he went and blew it into my face. So that was like one of the funniest things that's ever happened to me on tour. That's a story that I hold near and dear in my heart.
I would have slapped him so hard.
He was like I hope one day I can talk to him again. He was like some like loser old punk dude that thought he was like really funny, you know. So
dick. Sounds like a dick.
Full US
it was the first show on a full US tour, so it was like fuck.
Oh, this is how this is gonna go.
Yeah. But there were like 2 people there to see us, and they let us stay with them, and they had dogs, and so it was worth it. Sweet, it was cool.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, mostly just like, we had a running joke that Matt had a for like a long time that like he stayed strapped, you know.
Okay. It's funnier if you meet him because he's very much not.
He doesn't have a.
He's never going to.
But he forgets shit like
he does forget. Yeah,
every tour he forgets something at somebody's place or at a hotel or something. And I don't know how it started, but we started being like, oh Matt, did like you forget your and like one tour I called like the person's house we stayed at, it was like a close friend, and I was like, hey man, I don't want to freak you out or anything, but like I think Matt left his at your house. And he was like, I can't tell if you're joking or not right now.
There's a long pause after that.
There was like
that.
such a long pause. So that was a good, that like, I don't know, the whole tour, it was just like Matt and his fictitious that
That's hilarious.
he's like never
It's a good bit.
held a he's like, my friend Gordon, you know the band Downhall?
I don't think so. No.
They're sick. You should check them out. He
think so.
described everybody in the band as like a basset hounds with beards. Once, like they all
Okay.
look like basset hounds with beards. So yeah, like Matt just like looks like a little puppy, you know, and
That's funny.
definitely doesn't own any.
Do you guys have any like pre-show rituals or any superstitions before you get on stage?
We did for a couple tours where we would
Yeah.
kiss a knife. This sounds so violent.
It sounds so violent. Oh god.
We're not like that.
So, but this knife just showed up one day.
In the van.
Yeah.
It was like metallic, like rainbowy,
Yeah.
like knife.
It wasn't any of ours.
No.
It showed up after we drove on Route.
It was Matt's.
66.
Yeah, there's a route. Have you driven on Route 66
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Virginia?
666.
Six-
Yeah.
Not 66.
666.
666. Yeah.
There we go.
In Virginia.
Yes, I have.
It's sick. There's a bunch of like old dilapidated like farmhouses and shit. We had a lot of fun.
We drove on that, and then the knife showed up in our van. We didn't know whose it was, and then we kept having like technical like problems on stage for the shows, and then finally, I guess you kissed the knife for good luck and got the rest of the band to do it, and we had no technical issues for that show. So we
Oh,
just kept
shit.
doing it for the rest of the tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just kept kissing this knife. We did it for like 2 tours, I think, and then I forgot the
Yeah.
next tour, and now it's no longer a thing.
We've had
Probably.
problems ever since.
Yeah.
Yeah, we sounded like crap ever since. we
Yeah.
stopped-
Yeah. Oops.
That's funny. You guys have another story for me from your list?
Oh man, hold up.
What you got?
Oh, the last tour that we did with TMP, I think it was TMP. We crossed the Canadian border back into the US, and I didn't know it at the time, but I'd forgotten to get our registration. And I also didn't know it, but we didn't have insurance. And so we like crossed back into the US with no registration, no insurance. And like, I also didn't realize we had a bunch of weed. And we crossed like in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
So, which we always try to do because it's just better. Like,
Yeah,
'cause
yeah. Less
whoever's working-
traffic.
Yeah, whoever's working just like does not give a fuck. And so they'll usually just like look at our passports and be like, go, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, he asked me for the registration, and I kept just like fumbling around trying to find it because like I had that paper somewhere. It would have been
Yeah.
old. But I couldn't find it, and then eventually he was just like, it's fine, like you can go.
Just go.
And then we realized after that that we didn't have registration.
Yeah. All the issues.
And we didn't have, and then I realized like 3 months later that I didn't have insurance because like it was on auto pay.
Right.
And they were sending emails to an old email, so I never got an email. And I guess my card, like they sent me a new card, and so like it declined, and then they canceled my insurance, and I had no idea about it. And then I got pulled over like in Atlanta on the way. I run like a coffee cart business when I'm here, like a catering business.
Okay.
And I got pulled over on the way to a catering gig by like a Georgia state cop. And she was so fucking mean to me. And she was like, you don't have insurance. And I was like, yes, I do. Like, what the fuck? And like, I called and they were like, no, you don't. And I was like crying. And she like gave me a ticket and wanted to tow my van. And I had to like just get insurance on the phone like immediately. And I ended up with like a really high insurance. So now I'm paying like a ridiculous amount of money every month.
That's insane. Where
Fuck
were you
you,
guys
that's it.
crossing over? Was it in New York or like Michigan or
Yeah.
So like right
Yeah.
about Niagara Falls? Like Niagara Falls or Buffalo?
I think it might have been.
I honestly don't remember. Yeah, like wherever Google
Well,
Maps
no,
took us.
it might have been Toronto to Michigan.
We ended
Is that-
up in New York.
I've never had them ask for like license or I've had them ask for license or passport, but never
Yeah.
like registration.
Yeah, he asked for a
They
registration.
probably, I mean, he did like a walk around the van. He probably saw the sticker like a year old.
And then he was like, bless that guy.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Shout out that guy.
Shout out to
We
that
almost
guy.
didn't make it into Canada on that World Is tour because of Matt's passport.
Yeah,
That was a whole thing too.
Apparently, there was like a delay for everybody getting their passport. There was someone in the World Is needed theirs too. I think it was like Katie or something, had to get it like shipped to Seattle, and Matt also, and then someone in someone in For Your Health like couldn't come to the Canada
Toronto,
date or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
It was that was like the tour of passport problems.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
It's
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Matt ended up getting his passport finally delivered to his house here in Georgia, and then they had to get it like overnighted to Seattle and pick it up the morning of that show in Vancouver.
We had to chase it down because they took it out for some reason to deliver it somewhere instead of just keeping it at the post office.
Yeah,
that's wild.
Yeah,
see, it's so weird to hear that because so living so close to Canada, it's like 15 minutes for me from my house to Canada.
Do you have that ID that like you like?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So it's just called a real ID, which is like it's just on my license.
That's
like it just says enhanced license or like real ID, and it's necessary in New York State now. So like everybody has to have it. So if you want to go to Canada, you don't have to have anything other than that. So that it's just so weird to hear like the friggin' passport.
It was like a whole ordeal.
I love the name Real ID as if my ID is not
fake.
real. Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
ID, yeah.
For our first,
I never thought of that. That's actually really funny.
For our first tours, we were touring in like an old like Dodge Sprinter.
Yeah.
And it like didn't have seatbelts and didn't have AC and didn't have heat.
And a bench that wasn't attached to anything.
Yeah. And then like if we had a photographer with us or somebody else, like they had to sit on a cooler that was just like in the van.
Corner. It did have a bunk though, which is great.
Yeah, it did have a bunk.
Yeah, that was
sick. Yeah, we just do things not safe, I guess. I don't know. We don't have
think
it
a lot of
together.
bands do that. We did that as well.
I didn't know any different at the like if you would have like been like, hey man, that's like really not safe, I would have just been like, what?
Right.
Yeah.
As opposed to what?
I think about it now, like now that you say that, like I've had a bunk in every van we've had. Like I'll build a bunk in the back and then we'll put all our shit under it.
Yeah.
There was like 1 year where we had a trailer, but aside from that, like we had, the bunk. And if I wasn't driving, I was sleeping on the bunk.
Yeah.
While they were driving.
So that's what we did.
Which I know it's not safe, but that's the perfect setup. That's amazing.
Yeah, because like if the van's gonna roll, then I might as well go with it, I guess. I don't
Might as well be asleep.
Terrible.
There was no heat or AC though. It was rough.
Yeah, one time we were like touring through Iowa, and it was like negative 16 degrees, and I was wearing 2 pairs of socks, and I had hot hands, like the little warming packets in shoes, and my toes were still just like freezing off.
We didn't know anything about the winter.
Yeah.
We didn't even know. Like we were in like jean jackets with hoodies underneath.
Yeah.
Like it was bad. Like I was wearing like Docs, and like they were like the floor of the van, it was just like
cold.
The floor and then like some fiberboard over it, and my feet were like freezing to the bottom of the van.
Yeah, our first van was a old construction van we bought for like $500, and I built the loft and then like all the shit, and I had to build the loft a little high because we were traveling with like an 810 because we were idiots.
Yeah.
Like, at that point you're like, oh, it looks really cool, it sounds cool, but
like how you know if somebody's like just started out or not. Like
and it's like it's not practical at all. At a certain point you're like, can I just get a little combo or something? So I just remember like one of the nights we had to sleep in the van, and it was me and my singer and my guitarist. We're all sleeping up there, and I'm a hefty boy. I'm not I'm not a small guy, and if I laid on the loft, my back touched the ceiling.
Oh wow!
And it was freezing that night, and I woke up with my shirt stuck to the roof,
shivering
because the blanket fell off me or whatever. And I was like, okay, I can't sleep up here anymore. Like here in the winter, I'm gonna die from hypothermia or some shit.
Yeah. On that World Is tour, there was one night where we didn't have a place to stay, so we slept in the van like a rest stop.
And whose fault was that?
Not any of ours. Not either of ours. Anyway, I like toured like a camping sleeping pad thing that's like essentially like a full raft, but like supposed to be an air mattress. And I just put that on top of all the gear, like kind of loose, and I slept great. It was great.
Kegan slept like a baby. I slept like on the floor underneath the bench seat. My partner, Monica, she'll like tour manage and do photo for us sometimes, and she was so sick. Like she got so sick the last 2 days of tour.
Yeah, this was the night before the last show.
Yeah, and like we had the means for a hotel, like, and she was like, "Can somebody else get this hotel tonight?" And I think Ben was like, "I'll get the hotel." And we were like, "Cool," and he like called a hotel. And the hotel was like, "Yeah, it's this much." And he was like, "Okay." And like, I can just pay when I get there. And they were like, "Yeah." And instead of like doing hotels.com or whatever, because like they'd waited too long and it was like past the time where you could like get it online.
Like 1 or 2 a.m.
And we showed up at the hotel and they decided that it was actually going to be like, what was it, like $400 or
Maybe
something?
more, yeah.
Like they're like, if you want to stay here, it's $400. And also you have to be out. Like we had to be out at like, I don't know, like, yeah, like super early. And we got there really late. So we would have gotten like maybe 4 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
So we were like, well, I guess we're sleeping in the van. And yeah, Monica was sick. And then everybody ended up getting sick.
Yeah.
We were like
That's
driving
tough.
home from
Boston.
Boston. Yeah, just like all sick.
Yeah.
That's tough. I slept many a nights in the van, and I do not miss it. I do not.
No. Well, I mean, when we had the other van, it wasn't like too bad because there was a bunk and stuff.
You
but
had 2 people on the bunk.
yeah, there were like 5 of us in just a regular like 15 passenger, but we only keep 2 rows because we don't tour with a trailer because I don't want to get robbed.
Yeah.
So
I feel that in my bones.
yeah, we don't tour with a trailer and we back that shit up on a wall, like or something. You know, we find something to make it like. If you want our shit, you have to just steal the whole van.
Yeah.
Like,
they'll find a way though. They always do.
Yeah, we try to be smart about it.
We'll bring stuff into the hotel.
We all of our guitars we always bring in, no matter where we're staying,
as much as we can carry.
That's smart.
Because that's the only stuff that like, if I lost my guitar, I would be devastated. You know, like amp, like that would suck. It's expensive, but also like
replaceable.
Yeah, like whatever. I don't have like affection. Poor amp.
Yeah. It's not sentimental.
Take my pedals, take my amp. Like, don't take my guitar.
I actually, there was when I was still touring, I was home from tour, and Have Mercy needed a place to stay.
Oh, cool.
And they crashed at my house, and I lived in the city of Buffalo, and like the neighborhood I lived in was really nice, but like 4 blocks away, it started to get a little sketchy.
Yeah.
And, we were up till like 7 a.m, smoking cigarettes, drinking beer, smoking weed, whatever we were just partying, you know, out on the front porch. I wake up at 9 o'clock. I think, I went to bed at like 7. I wake up at 9 o'clock to them freaking out. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And they're like, someone broke into the van. I was like, there's no fucking way. Like I was dating this girl at the time, and she was living with me, and I like pulled her car up to their trailer so you couldn't open the trailer. Well, they fucking pushed the car back like 6 inches.
They deserved it. They deserved
that
whatever
6 inches
was
right? But the 6 inches was enough for them to get like all the guitars and like a rack tom or something. Like how you know, whatever it was they ended up getting.
Oh, rack.
Yeah, like it was weird shit. They popped the lock on their van and they stole all their luggage and shit. And I just felt so bad. I was like, take weed? Can I buy I don't know. Like, just take my money. I felt so bad. And we ended up calling all of the guitar centers and pawn shops within like, you know, Buffalo, Syracuse, Rochester, all those places. And they ended up getting it all back. Luckily. And the dudes that stole the shit, they came from the hood to my street, waited for us to go inside, and then did it like right as we went inside. But they all got they're like serving federal time because there were passports in their book bags.
Damn.
Oh, wow.
and they didn't know. So
Wow.
yeah, they got fucked on that. But fuck those guys.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks.
It's crazy. Do you have any more stories you want to share?
I have like a sweet story. One time
Let's
we
hear
were in Salt Lake City and we went out to this breakfast place
Oh yeah.
and it was really good. I can't remember the name of it. Was it on like a Diners Drive?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Some whatever breakfast place that was on that, you know. And we're kind of like we're like bougie food people on tour. Because it's like the only thing that keeps you sane, I feel like.
Yeah,
is eating good food.
We'll splurge for like a nice breakfast to start the day, and then like
Yeah.
eat a PB&J for lunch or something, like balance it.
But yeah, like it came time for the bill, and the server was just like, the guy at the bar like paid for you. He saw that you were in a band. And
That's
like
awesome.
didn't say a word to us, didn't come up to us, nothing.
Super
just
cool.
like fucking paid that shit and left like a ghost. Like we have no idea like who it even was.
That's awesome, though.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was like I think it was like an older guy. Like from everybody that was there, like that I kind of noticed. I think it was just like this old guy, and I'm sure like he was, you know, probably in a band when he was younger and
Yeah.
Right.
knows
Remembers
that
how it was.
we're poor.
Yeah.
I feel that. That's awesome. Yeah, it's like he was probably like an old timer. He went through all
Right.
the bullshit at one point.
For sure.
At least let's say that's what it was, because that makes it even cooler.
Yeah, it was Salt Lake City though, so maybe it was just somebody doing their like Mormon duties of the day.
True. Sheets or Wawa?
Oh, I'm Sheets.
I don't have like a preference between Sheets and Wawa. I'm gonna be honest.
We don't have
we're from
either
the South,
here.
so like I don't
Yeah.
even know what the fuck that shit is. Like I
Yeah.
mean I do now, but like
Yeah.
We don't have them in New York State either, but they're like just outside of New York State.
Yeah. I honestly like I prefer like a racetrack, like a nice
Yeah.
racetrack, like which I guess is kind of like what a Wawa or a Sheets is, you know. But like down here's version.
Right.
I like getting the Dr. Pepper slushies.
Okay.
So anywhere that has a Dr. Pepper slushie, if Sheets or Wawa has that, then I'm going with one of those two.
Hell yeah.
Whichever one has the Dr. Pepper slushie.
All right. So you said that you guys are kind of foodies when you're on the road. What is some of like the better meals you've had while on the road? And
yeah.
is there any places that when you go through, you're like, all right, I need to go here. Like this spot is the spot.
We're about to
Yeah.
play Philly in December, and last time I was there, I was just there on vacation, and me and my partner ate at this place called Mishmish, and it's so fucking good. Like it's like too bougie for tour probably, but since it's just like one show that we're playing in Philly, I'm definitely gonna go there. And it's just like a, you know, like they got like maybe 14 tables, like little restaurant, and a bunch of like really fucking good meals. Like I don't know, like I like when my appetizer is olives. And it's like it's like the best olive you've ever had.
It's absurd. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I like it when they bring me like
John's not on board.
they bring me like a salad that like I can tell like I don't know, like I can like the lettuce tastes like fresh, you know? I don't know.
No, I feel that. It's like crunchy and crisp and
Yeah, like I like to
Yeah.
eat a nice piece of fish that's been cooked really well, and like there's like weird tasting notes and shit. I am like really bougie when it comes to food, but we are also like pretty cheap. Like
We cook a lot on tour.
we cook, yeah.
Yeah.
We bring a hot plate and
We brought
like
an Instant Pot one
Yeah.
tour, and we'd like throw stuff in before sound check, and then set it, and then play the show, and then it'll be ready after the show. Like make like veggie burrito bowls, and you could feed 5 of us twice for $10.
yeah, at least twice, yeah. Because then you
Yeah.
get
So
like
smart.
tortillas,
Yeah.
and we tour with a fridge. Like we have like this
Yeah.
little like cooler that plugs into the van, and then we bring
Yeah.
it into the venues and plug it
Yeah.
in. So we have like a fridge
And keep it.
throughout the whole tour, and yeah, we'll just like do that and basically like meal prep. And then
Yeah.
like if we have a rider, we like we we have like
Good
caprese like every morning
Like
for breakfast.
Tomatoes. balsamic and olive oil.
like
That's so bougie.
Mozzarella. Get a nice like loaf of bread.
Oh, I love it. I love
Cook
it so
in the
much.
way to the next city.
Yeah, like we eat good. Like
Yeah.
like there's kombucha on our rider.
Yeah.
There's, like
Got a booch
mozzarella,
every day.
fresh mozzarella, basil,
Basil,
cherry
everything.
tomatoes, maybe some avocado. The bread we never get because we'll just like stop and get it somewhere that like has fresh.
Maddie
bread.
needs to see it.
I have to see the bread.
She needs to okay it.
I have to okay the bread. I have to feel it.
Yeah.
That's fair. I mean,
But again, like you do that for 5 people and it's way cheaper than stopping
Yeah.
at like a
We all
McDonald's
spend
breakfast.
$3 on
Yeah.
like a delicious meal that like makes us feel good and not hate
Yeah.
everything, you know? Because like we've done like we got Feed the Beat one tour. We ate so much
Yeah.
fucking Taco Bell.
So
like,
much. I lost weight on that tour.
I mean, they say if you eat the same thing for every meal every day, eventually you're just gonna start to shed weight.
Yeah.
Your body's
True.
your body's
like, get rid of this.
We already have this.
Yeah, we're full.
Especially Taco Bell, where it's like this needs to get out now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love Taco Bell though.
I do too. I
Like,
really
it's-
do.
I mean, a good Taco Bell, like you know,
Yeah. A good Taco Bell's great.
fast
Yeah.
food restaurants are supposed to be designed to where it's like good every time, but then they decide not to pay people shit, and I can't blame them for not giving a shit. So you know,
Yeah.
But every now
Really
and then you
can't.
find like a good fast food place. There was a Taco Bell outside of the Grand Canyon
Yeah.
we stopped at, and I swear to God, it was like the
best.
and then we found out that like they get paid more.
Yeah. Like the minimum wage in that state is like 15. Yeah.
Okay, that
That's
makes
it.
sense. They're
That's
like,
the secret like
like-
recipe.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're almost at a livable wage, so we care about your beans.
Yeah. Just enough.
yeah.
That's funny. We used to do this thing where I don't know if they still do it, but Chipotle, you used to be able to call them and like beg them.
Yeah.
just basically be
I've
like,
never tried it, but I've
we're
heard
in, we're in a touring band and we're starving. We don't have money for food. Is there any way you can comp like three or four burritos? And then they'll usually be like, "Can we have a CD?" And you're like, "Fucking take 3. I don't care." Like,
Yeah.
No one else is buying this shit. Fucking
Trade
take
it for
it.
burritos. It's a good deal.
that's funny.
Not the shirts though. We're keeping the shirts.
Yeah. we need-
The burrito still costs more than the shirt, but still. That's funny. So have you guys been overseas yet?
Not yet. No.
Any plans?
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing that's announced, but yeah, next year
Cool.
we
Very
will be going overseas,
Well,
and we'll see how broke we are when we come back.
Yeah.
let's see. What else do I got for you here? Oh, any good or bad, weird, interesting fan interactions?
Yeah.
You would not believe how often I get that exact response.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks because like you wanna like it's a weird position to be in because people feel like they know you or something. I don't know. And then they like come up to you like they know you, and it's
Yeah, they just like to overstep boundaries.
yeah, which like we're a really small band, so it doesn't happen like all the time or every show or whatever, but yeah, honestly just like dudes are just so weird sometimes. I don't know what it is. But yeah, like I had one guy come up to me after a show and he was like, "I like those little slips you do with your voice." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "I play in a band too." And I was like, "Cool." He was like, "Yeah, so like I know." I was like, "Are you trying to tell me that I fucked up?" Like, is that what you're- like,
Yeah.
like,
Are you negging me? What
or
is
yeah,
this?
like, are you like, I
What are
can't
you
tell,
doing?
like, what's happening
In a
right
creepy
here.
way too.
Yeah, no, he was like
very.
smiling the whole time too. It's always like the smile. Yeah, and I feel bad sometimes because I feel like I don't know, maybe he just doesn't like know how to like talk to somebody. But sometimes I'll get a lot of like weird that kind of thing, like just a dude that like wants to show me every guitar he's ever owned, or like you know, like, and it like, and then I feel like an asshole if I'm just like, oh, like I want to evacuate this situation like immediately. And normally I'll just like look at Kegan and like Kegan will like step in and
I'll pull up the
take
pictures
over.
of every guitar I've ever owned. For them completely.
Yeah. Or like when they try to like mansplain guitars to me or something, like they're like, this is my SG and it's got the single coils in it, and they'll show me it, and it's like got humbuckers in it, and I'm like, cool. Awesome guitar that you don't know.
Awesome, good job.
Yeah.
That's
like
wild.
I don't, yeah,
That's why they call it being punished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
It's mostly punishers, and it's
Yeah.
usually always a dude, and like they'll come up to me and they'll be like, I love bands with female singers. And I'm like,
cool,
that's
creep.
a really interesting thing for you to come up to me and say right now.
Yeah.
Like just all of them, like you like all, like every single one. Like, what the fuck is happening right now?
Creep. Yeah, for sure. If you guys could, what is like your dream tour? Any bands that you would want to be with or be on tour with?
Well, I don't
Tom
know.
Petty.
Yeah, bring Tom Petty back from the fucking
I'll go on
dead
tour with Zombie Tom Petty.
and have my fucking whatever the fuck our band is. I don't know. I think it's just alternative rock music. Just like me up on stage before Tom Petty singing about how I'd blow my brains out if I didn't have a dog, you know? I feel like the crowd would really dig it, you know?
I feel like people would relate to that though.
I think like is honestly like the Front Bottoms, like I would love to tour with the Front Bottoms.
Cool.
I don't know. I would love to tour with Foxing. We just played a show with them.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
And it was awesome.
Yeah.
Aren't you guys playing with them at that Wonder Years show?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. Wonder Years would also be a sick tour.
Yeah. Be fun to go on tour with The World Is again.
I would love to go on tour with Future Teens again.
Yeah. It's been a while.
Love them.
Carpool.
If we could like, so did you ever listen? There's a band called Mess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would love for Mess to be a band again and for us to go on tour again, because we've gone on tour together before, and Kevin's actually the one that I called and told him that Matt left his in his
Actually, a friend of mine played guitar with them on like it had to be like early to mid 2000s. He used to be in what is it? Cute is What We Aim For. So when they did like a just
Are we
like
talking
a
about the
short
same
run.
band?
Are you thinking about
Mess.
Mess or Mess?
I mean ST.
So we're talking about a band called MESS.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Totally
consider
different.
it. Yeah. Happens all the time.
You should check
Yeah.
Mess out though.
They're really good.
We met them
On
at
that Future Teens tour.
yeah, and
Yeah.
that was the same show in Iowa where it was like -16 and we had a diesel van, and
Okay.
we didn't know about diesel fuel gelling in like negative temperatures, and it gelled in the fuel filter, and we had to like boil a hot pot of water and like pour it over the fuel filter to start the van.
Yeah.
But they're fucking awesome, and I wish we could resurrect them and go on a tour with them again. Because it's just like beautiful to watch them play music.
Yeah.
Nothing's impossible nowadays. Everybody's coming back and doing like fucking, front to back album tours and all that shit.
Oh, I've been like, I'll like text Kev like
Yeah.
once every couple months, be like, hey, so like when are you gonna go on tour again? Like, this band is dead, Maddie. It's been dead for years. I don't know what your problem is.
I don't know what your problem is. Stop reminding me.
I have trouble letting go.
Right.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
You've heard the song.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I just have one final question. What's in the future for the band?
We're probably gonna break up, like
Right after this.
Yeah. gonna call my guys and just call it quits.
Yeah. We peaked.
No, I don't know. We got a studio in my basement, so I just want to like have fun, with music. I feel like the past fucking 6 years of being in a band, there's tons of reasons to not have fun when you're trying to do it for a living professionally. And I'm just like ready to have fun with my friends again and make music and not care about any of that.
Yeah.
So that's what's next.
Oh yeah, love that. Anything you guys want to promote now would be the time.
All we really have to promote is we're playing with the Wonder Years and Foxing
In Philly.
December 13th.
December 20th.
20th, I'm wrong.
We're
we have a show here on December 13th.
Yeah, we're playing Atlanta December 13th, Philly with them December 20th.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then look out for some shows next year.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Go
Thank you
put out
guys.
a record. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
We just put out a record. It's called Better Luck Next Time. It's good.
It really is good. Guys, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was a pleasure having you. You're welcome back anytime. I'd love to have you back in the future. Everybody, thank you so much for sticking around, watching, listening to the episode. Make sure you go out and support the band. Listen to the record. It's amazing. I picked it up on vinyl. It's not here yet. Usually it would be over on the wall. It's not there yet. But, do whatever you can to support them. They're great people, great band. Keep your eyes out for everything they got going on coming up next year. And we'll see you next time.
Bye, bitch.